Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are thrilled to have in the studio with us today our friends from the Point Loma Rotary Club. Got Debra Gookin. Gookin, is that correct?
That's correct.
Very, very good. She's the club services director in the past. President, joined by Dr. Richard Stakelum, director of Ride the Point. We're going to hear all about that cool thing. And then Gale Krause, widow of the Ride and the Point namesake, Jim Krause. So to Gale and to you, Richard, and to Debra, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We met. What's the mission of the Rotary Club, Debra?
Well, the mission of our Point Loma Rotary Club has been to help everyone in the community and also worldwide. So we provide service to others, promote integrity, and we advance understanding, goodwill, and peace throughout the world through the fellowship of all of our members, including business professionals.
Right. So if I got the math right, 75 years you've been doing. That's right. Not you've been doing it. Well, maybe you have been doing that. I don't know. 13 years you've been working for the Rotary.
That's correct. We've been around for 75 years. We just celebrated our anniversary.
No, that's terrific. And, Gale, talk a little bit about Jim, of course, and the Moores Cancer Center.
Okie doke. Jim was a devoted husband and father of three. We have three sons. And he was a lawyer by trade. And he joined the Point Loma Rotary Club when he was in law school in 1975. So 50 years ago.
What law school?
USD.
Okay, went to USD.
Yeah. And he was a trustee there, and he was just very active in a lot of different things, including the Rotary Club. Yeah,
I just saw Steve Ferrolo at one of our events over here, former dean of the law school over there. Is that where you met him?
No, I met him at a singles fundraiser at SeaWorld in 2000. No. Gosh, I'm losing track of my years here. 1986.
Very. Okay. Now, are you from San Diego?
I'm not.
Where are you from?
I grew up in Michigan.
Okay. Where?
Bloomfield Hills.
Is that near Ann Arbor? No.
It's about an hour. But a lot of my high school friends, I just went to my 50th. A lot of my high school friends went to U of M. So
all right.
Yeah, I know,
very good.
Ann Arbor.
Yeah, I went to the big house and all that business. So talk about the Moores Cancer Center.
Well, it's the most wonderful place you never want to need. Yeah. But we ended up there when Jim was having some issues. And much to our surprise, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer at the age, and they just took amazing care of us. 3 physicians through the whole 4.5 years that we were there. And it's just an amazing place where you go when you have something that they don't know what to do about. It's great to be at a research facility, and it's top notch.
Yeah, my father was a medical doctor, and he taught medicine at UCLA and had a practice in the LA area. And of course, UCLA, like Moores Cancer Center, it's about the research. It's all about the research, and that's not inexpensive. But you've really got to convince people that they're going to find something eventually in this stuff. My father also died way too young of a disease that they had no cure for. Of course, he knew what it was when they had that. And so we were always very grateful for that. So I'm glad you had that experience, as tough as it was, with the Moores Cancer Center. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. And Jim was in 4 clinical trials during his journey.
Well, listen, I don't know of too many people that don't know of someone who's had pancreatic cancer. That's a tough cancer. I mean, every cancer is tough. What am I talking about? But that one is especially. And so my business partner, Charles Parisi, just was dealing with one of his closest friends back there. So, thoughts go out to you. But obviously, you have seeing such great work from the Moores Cancer Center, and of course working with Debra and with Richard Stakelum as well is terrific. Talk about Ride the Point. When did you were you the founder of this, or was that something that came on and you just jumped into it and accelerated it?
Yeah, so Jim was a big member of the Rotary Club, and so after he died, he was a big bike rider too. I mean, he rode a lot, and so after he died, we were looking for something to honor him for his public service and stuff.
Right.
And so we started it up. Me and a couple of guys got together and started it. The first year was just a few riders, and it's built over the years. And now we have a committee of volunteers that put it on. It's about 20 volunteers on the committee. And then we have about 100 volunteers that help us, direct the riders. Ride the Point's coming up November 8th. We start at Liberty Station in the OG's parking lot. And the riders ride through some of the historic areas of San Diego that they normally don't get to see. So we call it the hidden, forbidden, and unridden Point Loma. And they go all the way up to Del Mar and back. So they get to see, La Jolla, Del Mar, Pacific Beach, Ocean Beach, Sunset Cliffs. So it's a beautiful ride on a beautiful day. November is usually the best month to ride bikes in San Diego. And so it's a great ride. And it also has a Healthy Lifestyle Expo at the end that anybody can come to. It's free. You just show up, and we'll have different people selling stuff. And also we have some medical information there for people who are, either have no idea what pancreatic cancer is or how to treat it or stuff like that. And it's really good. It's a nice, tight organization. The doctors who used to work with Jim show up. And, if you have questions, they'll answer questions about, pancreatic cancer. And then the money that we raise goes to Moores Cancer Center, to the 3 doctors who worked with Jim, and it's directed towards their basic research. And so that basic research is usually like priming the pump to get them to where they can get more funding from some of the bigger organizations. So we have a critical place to play in that, and anybody can participate. We're looking for volunteers who will stand out on a corner, ring a cowbell, and point riders in the direction they're supposed to go. It's a great time. You can bring your family, have like a little picnic on the corner somewhere and ring a bell. Also, we have sponsors, quite a few sponsors from the local community. And then we also have people can donate. So anybody who donates can just go to our website. All the funds donated go directly to Moores Cancer Center for research. And the great thing is, if you're a VIP or a sponsor, when we go to present the check, you come with us, and the doctors present what they did last year with the money and what they plan to do this year with the money. So it's a really tight circle of care and remembrance for Jim Krause.
That's a great tribute. I'm sure Gale appreciates the heck out of that. We're chatting with our friends from the Point Loma Rotary Club, Debra Gookin, Club Service Director and past President, Dr. Richard Stakelum, Director of Ride the Point, and Gale Krause, widow of Ride the Point namesake, Jim Krause, a 40-year member of the Point Loma Rotary Club. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. They've been doing great things in San Diego County for more than 6 decades. Whether it's food insecurity, whether it's the arts, financial literacy, they are really on top of their game. Before I turn it back over to Debra, Richard, how many folks will be on this ride?
We limit it to only 600 riders. We want it to be a boutique.
Only 600?
Yeah.
Only 600, okay.
Yeah, we don't allow a large, it's not like some of the bigger rides where they have thousands of people and you have problems with, crowds and all that.
Wow.
We keep it very, very low. Once we hit 600, we cut off registration. And
is it cut off now?
No, we have about 100 slots left open.
Okay, get it now. It'll sell out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And how long is the race, so to speak, even though it's not a race?
Well, we have a ride for each of the different groups of bicyclers. So we have a 5-mile ride that's for beginners. We have kids as young as 5 years old riding. It's all on bike trail. It's all led and followed so that you can't get lost. And you get the full experience of being in a bike ride. You get the medals. We'll have the San Diego Gulls and Gulliver out there providing medals to the kids. We have Project Heartbeat out there teaching kids how to do CPR. We have YMCA is going to be there with activities for the kids. And then we have a 25 miles for the recreational rider. And 25 miles is, most of it's flat. And if 25 miles is too much for you, we can cut it down. We can tailor it to whatever your level of thing is. And then we also have a 62 mile, which is, most serious riders will do the 62 mile. It's a beautiful ride all the way up to Del Mar and back. So, so any level of rider can participate.
And which one do you do? Are you too busy at the event?
I'm at the event, but if I was going to ride, I'd ride a 25 mile because I do that pretty often. Yeah.
So I'm going to volunteer Larry Blumberg, who's a friend of yours and involved with the Point Loma Rotary. Larry was just on our show talking about Fleet Week. I'm going to have Larry do the 62-inch run. Okay, so and this aspect of it, and Larry will laugh when I say that. So Debra, just talk about how important this Ride the Point is for your organization.
Well, it is important to us as a club, as well as being important in terms of impact on pancreatic cancer research. And when Rich first brought up this idea to our club, then we thought, whoa, this is a lot to take on. We've never had a bike ride before. We don't have expertise in this. But one of the things I really like about the Point Loma Rotary is that when someone has the initiative to have a new idea, we have this can-do attitude. We reached out, found teammates, in this case, Moment Cycle, and they came and they taught us how to put on a bike ride. And so we jumped in, and as Rich said, we started with a small ride, and it has gotten more and more impactful. And it not only impacts us financially in being able to help and donate to the community and to Moore's Cancer Center, but it also is a community event, and it brings in a lot of people and gets a lot of recognition for what our Point Loma Rotary Club does.
We'll come back from break. I want to talk a little bit more about that and all the zillions of other things that you folks do, of course, in the 75-year history of the club. We're very interested about what you do with free water for people and safe in Fiji and Zambia. We know that's an issue, water around this world, for God's sake, and there are places that are going to run out of water, and that is a challenge. I want to get back to Rich on how people can participate in the ride. If you need any more volunteers, I guess you can never have enough volunteers in that aspect of it. And then really want to circle back to Gale and ask her, what advice she would give to people whose families are just being diagnosed with a type of cancer, whether it's pancreatic or it's something else. And this is how, there are people here to support you. So, let the people support you when we come back with our friends from the Point Loma Rotary Club and another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show after this short message.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of the Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in our community. So pleased to have in the studio with us today Point Loma Rotary Club. Debra Gookin, Club Service Director and the past President of the club, Dr. Richard Stakelum. He is a Director of Ride the Point, November 8. There'll be 600 bike riders and not one more than this in that, raising good money for pancreatic research from the Moores Cancer Center, and joined by Gale Krause, widow of Ride the Point namesake Jim Krause. Let me start with you on this, Gale, if you don't mind. Certainly, it's an experienced understatement in the world that you and the kids faced when Jim first got the news. Besides what? Did I hear this correctly? What else did you feel?
Well, I wanted to figure out what we could do.
Right.
And what the options were. We were, you're right. We were devastated and shocked. And I tried to tell the kids everything was going to be fine, but they immediately got online. They were teenagers and were able to figure out for themselves it was a really serious situation.
Right. And so when did you get in contact with the Moores Cancer Center? Was it through the Rotary? Was it through the Ride? Was it through Jim's contacts?
It was through the gastroenterologist that found the cancer. And we just looked at him. We happened to know him personally, too. So that was, like, what do we do? Where do we go? Who do we call? And he said, if I were you, I would go see Mike Bouvet at the Moores Cancer Center. Yeah. And I didn't know who that was. He's been a friend now for many, many years. But yeah, that's who we
Well, funny you say, my dad was a gastroenterologist. And so, a little bit of a connection there. So now you've got this news. You call up on the Moores Cancer Center. You're going through this. So what advice would you give to other families that are just in that space? What can they do?
If they don't have a recommendation to go to a significant cancer center, as we did, but I did this anyway, most types of cancer, there are organizations out there that are very helpful. And for pancreas cancer, which is the only one I really know, PanCan is amazing. You call them, they hook you up with a person who's like an advisor to help you figure out what's near you, what clinical trials there are, what doctors, can serve your needs. And you work with that person throughout the whole journey. And I would really recommend, if it's pancreas cancer and they're not near UCSD, or even if they are, you can get some really excellent information from PanCan.
Yeah, and I think, for people that you've gone through it, your kids have gone through it, knowing that, listen, we can help you through this. We can tell you what our experience is in this. It's never easy. We all know that. And certain people have certain levels of how much they want to talk about and all that business. But I think mainly just knowing that there's someone that's gone through this and we'll get you through it. It's going to be a tough result. We know that with pancreatic cancer and that aspect of it. So I applaud you for sharing that. Debra, talk a little bit about, I'm fascinated by this water stuff that you do in Fiji. Talk about it.
Well, our Point Loma Rotary Club has a big portfolio of what kind of projects we jump into, and that includes mostly community projects where we help everybody from the elementary schools to kids and all sorts of things, including this work that we do for research at Moores Cancer Center. In addition to that, we have an international arm, and we've been doing projects in other countries at different levels for some time. Our largest projects have been around safe water, disease-free water.
Interesting.
And water is just a baseline requirement for health in a community. And we first got started in Fiji, where they had plenty of water, but it wasn't safe to drink. And so we looked into it, did the research, found the teammates. I actually met the Fiji Minister of Health. We found other collaborators, and we put together a program to provide water filtration systems where the Fiji Ministry of Health actually did the training using the nurses that they had in the local community, so that really helped with the impact. We ended up saving the lives of over 5,000 people, primarily from typhoid, but also the school children were suffering and they were unable to go to school. People were unable to work, so it really had an impact on that community.
Well, understatement of the world, there's something that's important to us to live, like air would be one of them, right? And I think water is number two. probably can't live without hair. We understand that. But you can live without food for a while, okay? But you can't live without water. So I can't think of anything that's more important. Ironically, another one of the shows we do is called Future Pathways Superintendents Unplugged, where we get to talk to the 43 superintendents of our county. And one of our recent episodes, we got our friends in from rural districts who are having tough times with, water, healthy water for their kids up in the Mountain Empire and so forth in other districts. So I'm going to share this information to you. And not that you're going to get a call from them in this aspect of it, but they're dealing with some pretty stuff. They have to bring in bottled water. And if you can imagine, are you kidding me? And it's because the resources are not there. So that's another side topic I might have for you, Deborah.
Please pass that information along. We would embrace the opportunity to work in our local community to give them the same safe water that we give to people in other countries.
You've made my day, and you've made those two superintendents' day. We'll do this offline on it. So Richard Stakelum, Director of Ride the Point. How long have you been doing this as a director?
Since it started, so 13 years.
Very good. Okay, 13 years, very, very good. Now, have you ever done it, or you've been too busy directing it? Have you ever been in the ride? I'm sure at the beginning, correct?
No, I've been directing it the whole time, but we do ride the whole ride to make sure that the streets are safe and that the paths we're sending people down are safe for even beginner riders so that we don't have any accidents or incidents. So that's one of the things that people appreciate is that we, eat our own dog food. We go out and make sure that they're going to have a good time. We make sure that the scenery they're going to see is world class. So. Well,
and for a great cause, pancreatic research and all that business, and putting a light on the Moores Cancer Center, and also all the great work that the Point Loma Rotary has been doing for 75 years in this. And anybody that knows anything about Rotary clubs is that these are people like Jim was that are passionate about this stuff. It's in their DNA to give back, whether it's by their talent, their treasure, or whatever the case may be. Talk about the ethos of your club, Deborah.
That's right. Yes. It's been just an amazing path that we've gone on doing this. And one of the things that really has motivated all of us has been going to the presentations by the doctors each year. And I'm a former scientist, and I know that this ability to have this no strings attached funding to go after the most crazy ideas that you have, off the wall ideas with the seedling money we provide. It's been amazing because we've seen these seedling projects that were $5,000, $10,000 each have evolved over the years into these clinical trials that are impacting thousands of people, extending their lives, improving their quality of life. And we walk out of there so full of energy and excitement, but, just also so emotional and ready to jump on to the next year's ride.
Well, listen, whether you're going to be in the ride of those 600 riders or whether you just want to make a contribution, just go to the website. Is it a website that's on yours, the Rotary Club, or is it on special?
It's just a separate website.
Okay.
It's ridethepoint.org.
Okay.
You go there. There are buttons there for registering to ride.
Right.
For volunteering and also for donating. So 100% of the donations do go to pancreatic cancer research. And so we have a lot of people who donate in honor of or in memory of somebody that's important to them. And it's amazing to see as little as $10 from somebody saying, this is to memorialize somebody that was important to me. And it flashes on the website so people can see, who you're memorializing. It kind of keeps them in history there. At the ride, we also have a big board where people come and they write the names of somebody in purple ribbons, and they put it on the board, and we keep that year after year so that everybody sees the kind of impact that 600 riders can have when they're properly supported by sponsors and donations.
Well, I think everybody knows that's been involved with a Rotary Club or a nonprofit or anything. There's no such thing as too small of a donation or too little time to volunteer. We just want to get you engaged. If it's $5, beautiful. Maybe next month it's 10. Maybe next year it's 20. It's just getting you engaged in that aspect of it. So kudos to you on that one, Richard. I'm just going to go around the room for any final comments. I'll start with you, Gale. What can we do to support you and the Moores Cancer Center?
Well, I think Richard has hit what you could do to support us. The ride would be lovely. I wanted to give another more specific shout out to
Please.
UCSD Moores, because the 3 physician researchers that worked with us, Dr. Bouvet, Dr. Lowy, and Dr. Reed, they're not only phenomenal human beings, but they are also, they really care. They have been, all 3 of them, at every single ride in one form or another. They've come, unless they were out of the country, presenting stuff, their research on pancreas cancer.
Right.
And I'm so grateful that I wish it never happened, but given that it happened, I'm so grateful to the Rotary Club, to Moores, to the physicians, and to anyone who participates in the ride.
Well, and you think about this, and we talk about this quite a bit on the show. Obviously, it's important to you, Gale, and to the kids, but it's also, sort of the network you're around, and your cousins, your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, and all that business because of this. And it's not just one person that is being impacted on this, Jim, in your case, and the family. It's everybody else in this area, and we all know that. And so, really, kudos to the Moores, Cancer Center, to the, Ride the Point. Jim, any final comments on Ride the Point?
Yeah. So it has to do with the Rotary ideal, right? You watch TV and you see all these horrible things happening and you want to do something about it. Rotary gives you the ability to do that. And it's small actions by certain people, and it has big impacts in the end. So that's what Ride the Point's all about. Your small contribution goes to a big impact at the end.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Deborah, any final comments?
Yes, we've had some wonderful teammates on all of our projects, either locally or internationally in the past. And now we need more teammates to help us with the success of Ride the Point. We need people from the community, we need volunteers, and we need donors to help us support the fight against pancreatic cancer.
That's great. Well, Debra Gookin, Club Service Director and past president of the Point Loma Rotary Club, thank you so much for coming in. Richard Stakelum, knock off another great event, November the 8th. It'll sell out, so if you want to ride the Point, get on that right now. I think they'll only have about 100 openings made by the time this thing is published. They'll be down to 0. And Gale Krause, what an honor chatting with you and hearing your story and the story of Jim and so forth, and wishing you and your colleagues and friends, family, and of course those at Moores Cancer Center nothing but great success moving forward.
Thank you, Drew.
Absolutely. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of the Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by the fine folks of Mission Fed Credit Union. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.